has started right now. Recording has started right now. Over to you, Anand.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so I'll start with these salutations to our gurus. I think it's uh, it's their learnings. It's something that we're following, and we're trying to make sense of uh, how it will work for us, what's the right way, what's the wrong way, and things like that. Uh, what I have for us today is over the last 6, 7 months, we've all gone through TattvaBodha sessions. While we've listened to, we've shared, we've read a lot. This has had an impact, certainly, in my life. And I just wanted to share just a couple of topics about where it is. One is with regard to knowing who am I. I think I continue to. I'm not saying that I know who am I, but that's where it is. So in the aspect of that, let's say before I started my session with Bidan and things like that, there was a lot of identity with who am I, as in this body, this mind. I think it was more there, and there was a natural affinity to get identified with. Hey Anand, who are you? You know, it's all about my achievements, uh, the designations that I carried over different job roles and things like that. And thanks to identifying with that, I also felt that there was just a little bit, and I would get angry and get flared up. There was a lot of ego around things. Okay, if someone tells me something, I would like start judging that person, right? Oh, you're too short, so it would just be a retort. It would not be accepting that, yes, I am, in comparison. So this is how it was before, right? And over the course of the last year, if I have to put it roughly, I've always heard before that saying that you're not the body, you're not the mind. But slowly started to understand, what does it mean by I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, right? I think there's too much of self-identity, right? Which I think has certainly come down, not gone, but come down. And I think over the last 3, 4 months, I have been very, very conscious about not flaunting what my achievements in the past were, because I think they happened, right? Will they happen again? Let's figure it out then. I think that's the kind of attitude I'm slowly going towards. And today, the flare-ups have come down drastically, not gone, but drastically come down. Today, if someone by chance say, hey, this is what it is, this is not something that is right, I would just give it a thought, right? My emotion of anger would come up, but I would recognize that emotion and deal with it a little differently. And I think more importantly is I'm just accepting. I mean, my acceptance levels have gone up. I didn't really know how to, put this, but when I did browse the web, I did see this very nice. I don't know. I should have given the credit to the person's website I took it from, but this is typically how it was. When it rains and people say it's raining, people have all the wrong things. Oh, I hate it. It's too wet. I can't go out and things like that. Versus just accepting it's raining. It's raining. That's about it, right? You can't do very much about it. So this is with regard to who am I. I think there are a lot of other things, but this were the top of the mind things that came to me when I wanted to put a few points here. So this is one part. Now, the second aspect, of course, during the sessions on karma that we did in terms of essence of karma, I got a fair part in terms of, reading, because I had to explain. So this reading led to a lot of knowledge, right? And before, karma was always why me, right? Why is this happening to me? Especially when something goes wrong. Why am I being punished, right? And the attitude was always, in the past, the attitude was always, I'll do this so good will happen to me. So it is like मुझे वो चाहिए तो मैं ये करूंगा, right? So it was so result focused. I mean, so I focused, right? Uh, and of course, when I was younger, I'm sure it was all like, "Ek zindagi hai, karo yaar, kya farak padta hai?" That kind of attitude where probably didn't care about others or what others felt or what did someone go through. Uh, and always my action was to do something to expect a certain kind of result, right? So the result, I mean, I don't know whether I focused too much on action, but I was very clear that this is how the result has to be, uh, which at that point of time I didn't even realize whether I was doing the right or wrong thing. For me that time everything was absolutely right because I was pursuing something. And if a result didn't go in my favor, if it went in my favor, it was fine. But if it didn't go in my favor, there was a lot of judgment, a lot of things, but never really understood, what was the action I did, right? And it was always judging the result. Now today, when I come to post TattvaBodha, right, reading, understanding, I clearly understand that the happy and challenging times. The reason I put happy there was we normally miss it, right? We normally says challenging times. All the experience that we're having are our own karmic imprint. I mean, I can't pinpoint and say I did something then and this happened to me. And I've had challenging situations, like everyone does. I've had my fair share of it. Uh, it's not that it's over. I don't know what's coming, but the point is today, uh, I have been able to slowly transform to observe that situation and try to judge it lesser. I've worked Bidan enough on this, and he actually told me why I should not be judging it because jo ho raha hai wo ho raha hai, right? The point is, if you judge it, it becomes more difficult, right? And when I've tried not to judge a situation, I have either been able to be at peace with myself or act a little differently, right? It is not a knee-jerk action for anything. And it is what it is. I think now I totally believe in this, right? Things shall happen. They always happen. And if you resort to overburdening yourself, thinking too much about it, judging, self-pity, nothing is going to get fixed ever, right? So it is what it is. And when you understand that this is karma, this is based on the actions that you have done in the past or you're doing now, and these are the results that are coming. You slowly gravitate towards probably watching your actions, right? Uh, is it hurting someone? Even if that one thought comes before you speak, I think that's a welcome change. And I don't think we should say that this action is going to give me punya or papa, but I think the point is, are you justified with your action? Are you comfortable with it? I think that's the karma part of it. And this has worked 100% for me. I mean, uh, do every action or deed, whatever you're doing, right, with a bhava of Ishwararpana. I mean, as if you're offering it to the Lord, right? If you're offering it to the Lord, uh, you do it the perfect way, right? Why don't do everything that way? And whatever are the results that are coming out of it, right? Just accept it like a prasada, with a prasada buddhi, wherein you just accept it. Don't judge it. Maybe your next action, if you don't judge it, could lead to better results, but don't call anything good or bad in terms of the results that are there. Uh, well, Ishwarapana and Prasadabuddhi, I think these two words remain on top of my mind, at least for the last 8, 9 months, and I'm sure it'll continue to. Uh, this is something that worked for me. I mean, the Song of Gratitude. I was doing the session with Twame, with Bidan, and I heard this song. I had tears, uh, especially because of the last line. Uh, I mean, Guru ko dhanyavad. Yeah, I mean, we are taught in our system that, Guru is supreme, right? Prabhu, of course, I mean, all the believers do pray to God. Sabhi ko dhanyavad. We generally thank people, but I think it's better to thank with that whole love and affection, uh, truly. Just not the word thanks or dhanyavad. But thanking yourself, I don't think I did for 50 years of my life. Uh, Today, when I I do play that song of gratitude, it still moves me a lot. And I've slowly started accepting myself. Let me say this, right? I went back and listened to some of the recordings of the sessions that we had, and especially the part where I spoke. Initially, I was trying to figure out where I made mistakes. I was critical. But the second time I listened, I just listened to myself. Uh, I don't like to listen to my own voice. And I'm a sales professional, by the way. Uh, Today, I'm able to listen to myself. I think that's a massive change. So, yeah, that's in conclusion. And really thank the whole Sangha. I don't think this would have happened if I had read some scripture, which I wouldn't understand. But I think each one of you, starting with Bidan, have made me understand a few things where that difference has happened in my life, and I'm sure it will continue. And I will certainly want to take it to someone else, pay it forward. Yeah, so that's it from me. Thank you.
So beautiful. Thank you so much, Anand, for sharing this straight from the heart. If I were to just when I listen to Anand about what all things he talked about, um, I would clearly in my head feel that there are three things which is kind of which is the I would say the essence of what he's saying. One, of course, is self-awareness. The level of awareness about self has gone so high that you are now in a position to say, hey, while my body and mind may have a certain personality, but I'm the observer, I'm the experiencer of the personality, I'm not the body and mind, and therefore the problems of body and mind are not always my problems. Right? So I could clearly sense what you're saying. So the self-awareness has gone up so high, and somewhere Anand is able to see his personality from a distance. That's beautiful. And the second thing which I could understand, one of course is self-awareness and his intention and the ability to rewire some of the programs. So by simply observing that, okay, I was earlier getting attached and identified to a few things, and something gets said, I flare up, right? So if something gets said, I remember having you said that something been told to you personally about your body, you never used to like it. So all these things, what happened now is because of the self-awareness has gone so high, you're able to see your body and mind and your reactions and your patterns. You're able to create a distance, observe it, and may not identify with it immediately. And therefore, it does not take you over. It does not become stronger and stronger and stronger. And some of the patterns which used to run by itself, subconsciously, you're able to make a conscious recognition of that and somewhere decide not to get identified with it or give it further more energy. That's so clear in terms of what you were saying. So, first, of course, was self awareness, and two was your ability to recognize certain patterns and not getting identified with it. And the third thing, which I love the best, was your ability to take responsibility. Saying was, I am responsible for my current situation, good or bad. So let's not waste too much of time expecting and holding others responsible for it, and let me see what is it I can do, and this is what it is. This is it. Now there's no use talking about it. Now what is it that I can do? Or it's okay. Let me be with it. So the sense of taking responsibility is also very immense. So for me, whatever you have told Anand, very key takeaways: increase self-awareness, ability to break your existing patterns and wiring, and the ability to say that I am responsible for my life. I take responsibility rather than responsible. I take responsibility. So it's very beautifully put together by you, Anand. Thank you so much for sharing. And
Thank you, Bidan.
thank
I
you.
was guided, and I've bugged you enough for this also.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I want to add one more thing to Anand. I just want to tell you my takeaway. That's so crisp and clear that you told, no, that you are able to, I mean, though it was all very, no, picturized that, you told that you are able to hear yourself now. You rewatch the videos and, now you're able to hear to your own self in a better way. Actually, this is where, I mean, a lot of us actually don't hear to our own self. And in an empirical form, I'm telling you, the inner voice or whatever it is. But the way you said that so nicely that you've come to that stage, it's so important, actually. It's very, very important. That means to say that the noise around doesn't bother you, actually.
It actually didn't. I think, Uma, you were right. Earlier, probably I didn't listen because I knew I would try to find my flaws. When I listened for the first time, I did do exactly that, right? But after that, I don't know where. I said, "Not bad, man. You speak okay." Uh, I mean, it is what it is. I've already spoken. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So I think Uma, you would like to take it from here.
Yeah, sure, Vedant. So I would like to start my conversation first by giving gratitude to all our gurus, saluting them. A lot of gratitude to you, Bidhan, and all my fellow learners. We have come so far in this journey, and I have learned in a different way from each one of you. Listening to you all, your experiences, it's been an amazing experience. And before I move further, I want to give a big shout out for all that summary video. I mean, it was an amazing job you guys have done. Each one of you took the concept in such a crisp manner, put it across in a way that each one of us could understood. And watching that one video, it compiles everything of the last 7 months together. And it was amazing to have that video to go back to whenever we have doubts. So thank you for that. And I see the effort that's gone behind that. So thank you again. Today, what I wanted to actually do was share my perspective. I think I have shared my learnings as to what my experiences have been and how it has brought about a change in me earlier. But today, I wanted to share as to how we can look at scriptures from the perspective of helping people with day to day challenges. Right? Me being a mental health professional, I also wanted to bring the perspective of how can understanding TattvaBodha give people who are going through mental health challenges, a different perspective. So that's what I'm trying to do here. But due to personal challenges, my husband not feeling well, I have not got a lot of time to prepare. If I falter anywhere, please do be forgiving and accepting. And I know I can accept that from you all. Now that we are all accepting of your each other's faults more, right? So, yeah, as a mental health practitioner, one of the biggest challenge I see today when I see my clients is that there's a lot of disconnect between people, right? Whether it's two couples fighting with each other, it's a parent coming to me with a complaint about a child, it's a child coming to me about a complaint with a parent, right? All this we see, and when I say disconnect, I'm talking about this. But disconnect is not only about fight or having difference of opinions or having different perspectives. It's also as simple as we sitting in a hall, lost in our own phones, not being aware of what is happening around us. Right? There was a time when my family used to be full. Like when kids come home, it would be really lively. We are all enjoying, having fun together, fighting, screaming, yelling, but there's still connection. And there's a time today when we all come back home, we are tired, we are in our rooms, and at the end of the day, we meet for dinner. If that doesn't happen, then there's no connection at all in that whole day. That's how life goes sometimes. And I'm not saying this is a challenge. This is okay as long as we still are able to connect when necessary. But what I'm saying is there are certain times in life that this doesn't happen, right? And why am I bringing the point to this? Why am I making this a huge thing about this disconnection? Is because when there is no connection for over a period of time, to some people, it is also a starting of loneliness. Because I have become so comfortable being with myself, keeping things to myself, not really sharing, not because it was necessary and I didn't share it. I just didn't feel it was my part of the day. That's how my nature has been, you know. I didn't feel like doing it. There was no need to do it. But all of a sudden, I have hit a big life challenge and I want to go open up, and I'm not able to do that because I have lost touch of doing that. And when I've lost touch of doing that, opening up feels like such a big thing. It feels like I'm going to open myself up and I don't know what to expect because it's not happened for so long. And then comes the fear of judgment, and then comes the fear of, oh, parents will ask, why you didn't tell me before? Why didn't that happen? And a lot of answers you have to give to that also. So because of this, what people do, they try to deal with the problems themselves. Many a times they do succeed, but there are also times when that doesn't happen, right? And you are more and more involved in the problem without able to find perspectives, because yours is the only perspective you have. And when you don't share, you don't get any other perspective. And when you're caught in your own perspective, the problem looks bigger and bigger each day. You're not able to solve it. And this loneliness slowly leads to isolation and a fear of what do I do next, right? When this starts and we are not able to manage it, this is the starting of anxiety. And if this is not handled over a period of time, if I don't share this, I start feeling more and more helpless. The more helpless I feel, the more hopeless I feel about my situation, the more stuck I feel, right? And that's where depression starts setting. Now, what I'm talking about is not something very clinical. Okay, you already are diagnosed with. No, I'm saying these are all feelings that we all feel when we feel overwhelmed. And if it is not taken into account and not addressed, there are chances that it may escalate. So, what actually began as a simple disconnection for someone was just that, and they were able to move on. When they wanted to connect, they could, and their life went on. But for some, it didn't stop there. It just escalated from there to many parts of their lives where at times they were overwhelmed and completely left lonely, anxious, and depressed. Right? So, how do we understand this with TattvaBodha? Before going to that, let me just say that the more and more disconnected we are with our world, the more and more our focus is on ourselves. The more and more we identify with ourselves, right? Like, let me say, okay, I'm not talking to anybody today. Then where's my focus? Okay, what should I do? My work, how am I feeling? How stressed am I? My whole world is only revolving around me, my work, me and mine. Me and mine is where I'm stuck, right? So the focus on me becomes more and more, the more I am isolated. So when I say the attachment to self grows, how can I understand this? I want to bring in a small slide and I want to understand, I want to bring this perspective better with a little more clarity. So I'll just go back and say, when we see in science, when we speak of attachment, what do we attach to? Our body, our sense of self, right? So in science, creation is this. You are born, you have a body, you have a mind, and this is what you grow up with, and you start to identify yourself as, okay, I'm a human being, I am this, I am that, and then all the roles come in. This is how it goes, right? But when it comes to scriptures, there's a different way of identifying with yourself. So that is where this slide comes in. Bidan, could you please play the slide? I had sent it to you in WhatsApp. If you don't have it, I'll try it here itself.
You're on mute, Bidan.
Uma, can you also present your slide? Is it possible for you to present it?
Yeah,
Please
I'm
go ahead.
just searching for the share option or
No,
unable. Ah, yeah, here. Got it. So are you all able to view the slide? Yes?
Yes, we
Yes.
can. Yes.
Okay. So here, according to our scriptures, they say when we are born as a human being, there are 5 layers to us, right? One is the Annamaya Kosha, the Pranamaya Kosha, the Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and the Anandamaya Kosha. So what is this Annamaya Kosha? It's the body that we all identify with, which is made up of skin, muscles, everything else, right? So next comes the Pranamaya Kosha. What does Pranamaya Kosha say? For example, I am feeling sick. I have pain in my body. Immediately my energies are low, right? There's a shift in these energies. So these energy bodies that we carry, the energy of my mind, the energy of my body is this layer of this Pranamaya Kosha, right? And then there is one more layer, which is the way I think, the way I process things, the emotions I feel. This is another layer. And the Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is the layer of decision making, or where I take things into account and I bring some clarity to myself to go ahead and do the actions that I need. Right? So we understand creations through all this. So when I'm saying I am identifying with myself more, when I dissociate or disidentify with the world around me, what I'm saying is that when I have a thought that is more enhanced, for example, I am scared that my exams are coming and I'm not prepared well enough for that. I have some deadline at work which I have to meet, but I am not able to do that because I have a lot of challenges and I don't have enough support to finish the work. Now, if I discuss this out with my friends, if I discuss this out with people and I seek help, I'm at a better place to deal with it. But if I don't, and I'm trying to deal with it all by myself, then the thoughts I have, oh, I have not done this, oh, I have not done that, oh, I have not prepared. I'm identifying with these thoughts a lot more. And that creates fear within me, right? At the same time, I start feeling nervous because I don't have the support I want. I'm not asking for it. And this emotion also feels a little overwhelming than me going to someone and saying, hey, you know what, I'm very anxious. I don't know this answer. Can you please help me learn it? Hey, you know what, I have this deadline. I'm not able to do it by myself. Can you please help me? If I'm able to do that, then great. But if I don't, then I'm identifying with my emotions, my thoughts a lot more, right? And that's changing the energies within my body as well. I feel low, I feel tired, I don't want to do the work that I want to do, I procrastinate, all this happens. And with so much happening, my mind needs some clarity as to how, what is the decision that is going to be done next. And because of all this happening, there's no clarity, I may end up taking decisions that are not very helpful. Right? So you see, when one area of my kosha is affected, it has a ripple effect on all the other koshas as well. Similarly, when I start identifying with one kosha more, for example, if I'm identifying with my thoughts more, then I see the symptoms in my body, I feel nervous, I'm not able to make decisions, right? There are challenges I'm seeing at all other koshas level also. So the more we identify, the more challenges we see. So what is the solution then? What does TattvaBodha say? How do we handle this challenge? So the whole answer that TattvaBodha says is identify what is your true self and what is not your true self, right? What is your true self? That is what we are coming to. So when we are saying what is your true self, let me just identify, for example, if I say I had an exam and I was not prepared for it and I'm very anxious, if I had to disidentify with this feeling, if I said, I am feeling anxious and I need to work on it. And before that, if I said this thought going on in my mind, have exam, I am not prepared. I have exam, I'm not prepared. If I take time and sit back and say, I have a thought that I am not prepared. However, is that the fact? How many chapters have I read? I have a thought that I'm not able to complete. However, how much of the job is done? Can I look into that? The minute you say, I have a thought, you are disidentifying it. There is a distance that is created. Then you find yourself being able to rationalize it more. And sometimes, even after I say this, okay, I have read 5 chapters, but I have not read 5 more. I may still feel anxious. So the next layer I go, I am feeling anxious. Now, how do I deal with this emotion? Can I ask a friend to help me? Can I just go through the summary and not the whole chapter? Right? The more I understand what I'm going through and disidentify it, the more I am coming into my senses. Now, this clarity has made my energies a little calmer, which leads to me making better decisions about how I want to study for my exams further, about how I want to deal with my work better. How would I put across what I have already done in a way to my client that it is more helpful to me? This is the kind of clarity I start getting the moment the de-identification happens, right? So this is what I have understood and I have learned in a way that can be applied to various challenges. And when we disidentify this, we are open to more perspectives. We are open to newer thoughts. And that gives us a choice. We may understand things, we may think things, we may feel things, but we don't feel compelled to take action on them. Right? For example, if I am feeling I am not prepared today at all, this was what I felt. Today, my preparation is not great. So let me not do today's presentation. Let me go apologize to Bidhan and everyone and say, I will do it next time. Right? But then I said, you gave it your best. You have a thought that you have not prepared. How many hours did you sit with it? 3 hours? Something must come out of it, right? So we'll give it a try. The minute I was able to say that, there was a little sense of calm. Okay, fine. But I still felt nervous. Then I said, all my colleagues or all my comrades here are more understanding. If I let them know, they will understand. That gave another sense of calmness. So the more disidentified with the anatmas or the challenges or the koshas I got, the more calmer I got and the more closer I got to my truer nature, which is of calmness and stillness. Now, calmness and stillness is not Anandamaya Kosha, which I am talking about, is not something that you will experience all the time, at least in the beginning of our learnings, at least in the beginning of our life when we are going through scriptures. But we do experience them in pockets. And this is what we try to do in therapies also. For a person who's come so identified with all their challenges, all their emotions, all their thoughts, we try to give them a sense of de-identifying with it so that they find a sense of calm. That pocket of calm and sense over a period of times helps them develop their confidence that I can do this. this is not so big. This is not so huge. Right? And that empowers them. Like how I felt empowered to be here presenting today. Same way, people start getting empowered to take action on what challenges. So this thought of anxiety and depression, the more and more you disidentify with your thoughts and emotions, the more you feel they are manageable. The smaller steps you take towards overcoming them with help, with support, with guidance, right? And this is what is so beautiful, one step at a time, but steadily there. And finding your own pocket of happiness, your own pocket of calm, and your own pocket of bliss from time to time to deal with the challenges of life, right? So, yeah, this is how it works in the mental health field as well. So I try to put it across. I don't know how successful I was in that, but at least I think you guys have some idea about it, right? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uma. I mean, so deeply thought through. So deeply thought.
Thank you, Vedant. Thank you.
Very nicely, very, very deeply thought through. And one point it just came to my mind when you were talking, and actually you hinted and you mentioned about it, that you use the word choice. The actual choice is only when you are yet to get identified. Because as soon as you are identified, then there is no choice. Then patterns take so. Right? And this is what you're trying to say, that, okay, there are 4 or 5 layers of identification. Every time you feel identified and get into an action mode, give yourself a moment. And when you give yourself a moment, then you create a choice for some more thoughts to come. Because if you get identified for your first thought or your first feeling or your first emotion or your first wiring, then there is no question of the choice, because then every other thoughts will remain in your subconscious mind. It will never come. But since you are creating a gap, you're allowing for the other thoughts, the other ideas, the perspectives and beliefs to come out. So very nice. Very nice.
Manju, do you want to add anything?
Thank you, Uma, for sharing. So beautifully put, like Bidan was mentioning, so beautifully structured to actually kind of come up with this frame is amazing. It shows how much of work you've put in through this. Maybe just one thought that kind of stood is maybe I'd like to ponder with the group is when you clinically diagnosed with a depression or an anxiety, there is an inability with the body. Like at the thought level, you want to create a change, you want to pause, but there is an inability to do that. Even then, while with the structure that you were giving, if you are able to disidentify or just able to hold space for yourself and say, yes, you're not able to move. Yes, it's not working, but stay. Just hold on. Be there. You will figure out. Or whatever your narrative is, but if you are able to hold on to that, by not becoming that depression, I don't know how much it is possible. I think it maybe it will help you sail or navigate better. I'm just thinking aloud here, because there is clearly an inability at the body level, your hormones, there's so many things that is not working for you, so that you're aware of, I can do this work, I am not my body, or I'm not this experience by, but then still you're not able to distance. You want to. At that moment, maybe if you're able to just hit that pause button and stay there, maybe it'll help. Again, I think that is this not identifying, not becoming that depression. Thank you, Uma, for putting this in perspective, and it's making me think in so many directions and beautifully put. Thank you.
When in clinical depression, Manju, is this okay to have this conversation here, Bidan? Yeah. So what I see mainly is when they say I can't, don't identify with the thought that you can't, right? It's okay if you truly can't, give it a try. You think you can't. However, is that the true fact?
The fact versus opinion, that differentiation does not happen because of various things.
That won't happen with them, but you can create that doubt in that mind. You can put that seed in that mind so that they start thinking in that process. Not that it will happen immediately, but it's definitely a seed that is sown so that every time they say, you just ask yourself, you think you can't or you really can't. Maybe in the beginning you can't. But do you think there will at least come a time where you can? Is that a possibility? Can you even think of that? That's all. That's where it begins, for me at least. Again, each one has their own, style of doing things, right? So
yeah, but then, like I said, it's very interesting how you put it. You gave it a perspective, and it's something that can be explored at various levels. I feel like as a practitioner as well.
yeah. Thank you.
This identification is the key to all. It kind of, we wouldn't even figure out for the longest time how much we are identified to our emotions, our things, to our personality or whatever. Everything, I guess, there is identification. Like the autopilot mode is always identified, I guess.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you for the time and thank you for your patience.
And thank you for such a wonderful discussion. Thank you, everybody in the forum, for asking some interesting questions. All right, so we have Sahana.
We have Srividya also after Sahara.
Oh,
Last week,
wow.
yeah.
That's
Last
amazing.
week she had sent it. Now that she's present, she's going to share it herself.
Wow. If there is time, otherwise, yeah, we can always.
You
No,
know,
we have time for you.
we will always make time for
Thank you.
this. For this, we always have time.
First of all, thanks, Anand, for your beautiful sharing. What tops in your sharing, what caught me is that Prasad Buddhi and Ishvara Arpana Bhava. I think that is something that it is even I feel it kind of makes your life so beautiful, so grateful for everything we do, right? And thanks, Uma, for that lovely, elaborate, presentation you gave. Disidentifying yourself with body and mind, or all this Shariratrayas, is beautiful. It was beautiful. Thank you. And for me, first thing is this reading this TattvaBodha with all of you is so. It was a wonderful journey for me. I really cherish this forever in my life. And it kind of answered many of my questions about life, existence, a lot of things, that why this marriage, what is this relationship, all this. There was a load of questions in my mind. It used to be. I think knowing this theory of karma, or prarabdha karma, or this upadhis, they kind of, reduce that burden or that load in my mind. And that really makes a lot of difference for me. And understanding sadhana chatushtaya, or this discrimination, it really helped me understand this impermanent nature of everything around me. It kind of protects me from all that roller coaster my mind used to go through, especially during some unfavorable situations. Knowing this Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka is kind of enabled me to handle tough situation or tough people with a calm mind, inside and out. Earlier, it used to be that, for people who would see me, they would think that, she's very calm. But inside me, I would suffer, or I would feel helpless, or some fear. I mean, it's a lot of different negative emotions mostly I used to go through. Now I see the situation is same, people are same, but still the way my body or my how it is reacting or responding to the situation is way too different. Way too different. It is like now I know bad people are not so bad, or good people are not so good. So that kind of stops me being judgmental about people or getting too attached with people also. It is, I think that kinds of, it's a protection shield for me, I feel. And understanding this Kshamadi Shatka Sampatti, the six virtues, help me gain control on my mind, my sense organs, and able to do my duties, especially these duties, without any regret or without any frustration. I think that is very important, especially when we are doing this day-to-day things. It kind of, you feel burdened. Like, why do I have to serve my husband every day? Why do I have to cook every day? Why do I have to take care of these kids every day? Or a lot of things like that, going to office, doing a lot of things. I think that regret or the frustration, I don't see much in me right now. And with the faith I have about this text, I am able to do my spiritual practices, whether it is puja, yoga, pranayam, meditation, or anything, with the clarity in my mind, knowing that how it is benefiting me to go forward in my spiritual journey. So all this understanding this panchakoshas, Shariratriyas, is a very good thing to, it kind of motivates me to do it more. Earlier, I don't know how this practice is helping me, but I know how it is helping me. But I think now I have a better understanding of how, at what level it is uh, benefiting me to go forward in my journey. And I think I'm able to catch hold of my mind when it starts those involuntary thoughts or acts or anything of that sort. I think I'm able to kind of direct them the way, however I want. So thus I have more time to do what really matters to me than being consumed by something that, just happened, and then later I would regret, oh, why I didn't plan, why I invested my time. So I think those things have, drastically come down in my life. Yeah, I think I have lots to share. I don't know. I can actually share for next half an hour. But yeah, these are the main things which really, made a lot of difference. And everything what Anand shared, what Uma shared, I think a lot of it I can also very much relate to, all of it. And the bandwidth of that acceptance has immensely, increased in me, I think. And maybe all these are not, very fancy or big breakthroughs. I don't say that, but these, all these are a very, very subtle things which happen to me, but that really matters a lot. That makes that really, something that, I would wanted, I would love to, have it more and take this transformation further stronger going forward. Yeah. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you so much, Sahana. I love the way sometimes with so much of ease you say, and good people are not so good and bad people are not so bad. I just love it. And so nicely put. And this is so, I mean, that only talks about the level of acceptance, that you're not making someone, taking someone up there or putting someone down there. It's like, okay, everybody are just people with their own set of personalities and with their own prarabdhas and their own karma. It's okay who they are. They're fine. I mean, that's beautiful. And always I remember this, Anna, you've said that, and again you have pointed this out right now, that by being self-aware and by doing these and looking at yourself, it gives you so much of time to focus on things which matter. Otherwise, involuntarily the mind will go in its own loop and takes hours and days and months away from you, which was not required. So amazing.
Yeah. I think whatever the preparation I used to do when I had to present, I think that is flipped so concrete in my mind. Especially this Shamadhi Setka Sampati, when I was reading this Shama and Dama and all, it was like involuntary thoughts. The moment it hit me, I'm like, oh my God, it's like I am really doing this for like at least 80% of the day. It just happens. And I'm not even aware of this. It really hit me. And then after that, it was a more like a exercise that, every time I had to observe. And for some time it was a conscious effort. Later I think it has become very natural. Like I'm able to catch hold of it very quickly without indulging into it for a long time. So basically there's so much of damage control.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, son. And the beauty about you is you can make it very simple, sound very simple, the way you express. Very, very nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Shivadya, we are eager to hear you.
Yeah, thank you. After all of them have already expressed. I have absolutely nothing much to share, but since I've committed for today, and I would definitely want to speak a few words. I wrote this during my train travel last week. I was traveling to Trichinapalli for a training, so I had a lot of time sitting in the train. So can I share my screen? Is that okay? Very little bit I have been able to type. I will just share that. So this was what I just wrote, and yeah, how do I put this? So I kept writing, the consciousness that I am is something that I always pondered. So I always kept looking at, we are so many people in millions, then how can we be one consciousness, all of us together? So this led me to further go deeper to understand the me and then the outside of me. So through learnings from the Vedanta, the outside of me is Maya and nothing exists outside of me. I am then only one consciousness. Then who are these people, the being I see outside of me? That is all the other human beings. So this further led to the discovery, or I would say a realization, or just an understanding that they are me, an extension of me. I also heard from other sources that the past, present, and future is happening now. Then I asked myself this question: if everyone outside of me is me, an extension of me, I realize that all the people and the beings of different ages, caste, and other religions are me, and I see them because of my karmic cycles. The more karma I have built, I am seeing them in more number. Yeah. So especially the people whom I am coming in touch with on an everyday basis, or sometimes in my life, I realize that they are there to either wash off the karma, or they're there for certain reasons. Yeah. So now what is the essence of whole existence? This was my question then when I started writing. I realized that the me has arrived as multiple realities, and unless and until I stop thinking and creating and manifesting materialistic things, or even manifest other things like I want this, I want that, I want him, I want her, I'm creating multiple realities of my own existence, and as I'm manifesting those needs. Yeah. So we reach to a level where when we realize our true selves of who we are, we start manifesting. So that was what I realized. Now, how do I stop this? I've learned from the Vedanta group that be an observer. Don't become a part of the drama that you see outside of you. It is all Maya. As an observer, you notice how altruism has been orchestrated, as everyone outside of you is you in the very essence of existence. Yeah. As an observer, I become more aware of this me as me, whether inside or outside. So what I learned was observe and detach yourself from the observation, and the observer as you're much more than the observer too. You're the divine consciousness yourself. So when I realized that I am the divine consciousness, I also realized that whatever is outside, a mere reflection of me. So now, when I work on this divine consciousness that I am, I'm just being that in whatever I do. I focus on the well-being of me and my reflected consciousness, that is every being's outside of me. Then the karmic cycles or the loop that I'm in start diminishing. Again, it's a perspective. So I was also, during my meditation and my introspections, I realized that in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna stood in front of Arjuna and showed the Vishwarupa, it was not Krishna showing how to show Arjuna how big he is or how large he is or he's the universe, but rather to show Arjuna who Arjuna is himself. It was not to show something outside of Arjuna, but to show Arjuna that you are this huge. That was my. I have to go back and look at the Bhagavad Gita. But during my, I would say, seeking, I got this thing that, Krishna did not show Arjuna of how great Krishna was, but rather to show how great Arjuna was as a divine consciousness. So this was all my learning from being in the Vedanta group. I would also like to add that I did not know this group in the month of September. Anand knew the group. So it was my seeking, my desire to know more, to be a part of some Sangha, led me to this group. So again, it was my desire, and I created this in my consciousness, the entire group. And likewise, I have written a lot of these things in my journal. But then again, I see it is all that I'm seeking, it is all I'm desiring, and I am creating. So as a divine consciousness, I should be very, very aware of what I'm desiring, what kind of desires I am bringing outside of me, because at certain point in time, you start manifesting, and you don't want to manifest something again to get into the loop of the karma, being in the karmic cycles. So rather you manifest, or you are able to understand who you are, the purpose of your own existence, and be that for, be that help or the support for the outside of your reflected consciousness. And that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. I've known you, Shividya. I know these thoughts comes to you very naturally. It's very difficult to kind of write down in the way you have written down. It's very nice, very deep.
I don't know whether it was clear, but that the thought just kept flowing and I wrote it.
So then the concept of Advaita is very difficult to kind of visualize, that what is there outside is nothing outside, but it's just within me. And it's very difficult to kind of intellectualize it. One has to, at some point of time, get that tick. And you feel that, okay, everything is happening within my awareness. Nothing exists outside of my awareness. So everything is happening within my awareness, and awareness is mine, so everything is within me. So it's beautiful. And we go in that, it kind of makes a lot of sense that this entire world is a reconstruction within me. Like this body is also a reconstruction within me. And
it scares sometimes, right? It scares you sometimes because, yeah, it's a journey, right, Vidhan? Every day is a new learning, every day is a new understanding. And it was not every minute, I would say, every second, there is a realization. So it kind of puts you back, take a step back and say, what am I doing here, right? So though I've not been attending classes, I'm really thankful because I see a lot of change in Anand, and he being my husband, it is very important that this ship that we are sailing through must, it should work together. Otherwise, he traveling in one boat, I traveling in another, or both of us in the same boat and having two mindsets would have been so tough on the entire family. But it's beautiful that we both are now aligned. We talk spirituality, we talk about our group, and it's such a beautiful, I'm very thankful and gratitude to everyone. And he really adores you, Bidan, and I'm very grateful for, the learnings you've been able to provide, and the understanding you've been able to bring in him and all of us also. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's so nice. So we kind of spoke today, and
Vidhan, I think I saw a message on the chat. Shweta wants to share.
please go ahead, Shweta.
Yeah, only if there's time. I mean, it's fine because I didn't prepare anything. Since I listened to Anand and Sahana, I just thought I'll add, and Uma. I just, it was a recent experience that I had, like in the middle of the night. I kind of woke up with severe inflammation in both my elbows. I couldn't move my hand. I had severe pain. And I was in tears and I was like literally crying out loud. And I was like thinking, the pattern, as you said, I mean, it's all, it just came back in a second. I mean, it was like the first question, I cried for some time and then I thought of God and I said, why me? And the moment I said that aloud, I was like, no, that's not correct. I mean, the previously many years, it's been a while since I have stopped it, but it's so difficult that the pattern can come back any second. It's like you're so used to questioning God or anybody else or putting the blame on somebody else, which makes it easier. So that came out so instantly, and I was like, the moment I said that, I felt so sorry. I was like, that's not correct. I shouldn't be saying that. And that's when I started saying, okay, fine. I mean, I shouldn't, that the fact that you're identifying with the body and the mind, everything came back. I was like, no. And I stopped crying and I was like, okay, fine. It's hurting so badly. There's nothing much I can do. This will pass and it'll go. I mean, I have to go through this. It will subside. Eventually, it's probably just one of those phases. So like whatever I've learned so far, at least the fact that I was aware that the thought came into my mind and I could disidentify the sharira and whatever I was going through, that was like, that moment I felt, I mean, it was worth it. I mean, the fact that, I mean, I've not been actively participating because due to health reasons, but that time I felt, it took me like 1-2 days to kind of recover. But after that, I felt so much of gratitude that I was back to normal after that. And I told myself, yes, never do that. Why me again? It's not correct. And I realized my old self, like many years ago, when I had this condition, I used to do that, and I literally used to get flown in that involuntary thought process and the pity, self-pity, and the how do I get out of it? There's no way out, and it's just a circle. There's no end to it. So the fact that I think I've come a long way. Like, although I'd given up blaming anybody or even God and accepting the situation, but that moment when the situation was really bad, the fact that the pattern comes back instantly, it's like you need to be aware full time. It's like, and I'm glad that I was able to identify the fact that what I was doing is not correct. So yeah, so I could relate to everybody, like Anand and Uma and Sahana, everybody. I was like, wow, that was like, it was a mixture of everybody's presentation in one go. So I just thought I'll share it. And I feel, yeah, it's practically possible. It's just, if you just keep at it, I think it'll just come anything. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I mean, I'm really happy I'm part of this group. Yeah, again, I'm hoping I can actively participate more. We'll see. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shweta. I mean, I know personally it's not easy to deal with physical pain, and you've been dealing with that, and you kind of summed it so well in the end by saying that if you are at it, it'll. And that's the essence. And thank you so much for making sure that you share. It means a lot. Thank you so much. And we're going to look forward to a lot more participation from you going forward. All right. Thank you so much. It was such a wonderful sharing today. And Uma had given me a lot of tasks to finish, but Uma, sorry, we don't have time. I'm so happy. I was not prepared for it as well. But still, so what we'll do is next week, we're going to reconvene and we'll talk specifically in terms to how do we want to take our forthcoming sessions going forward. So there's no the agenda for next week is only this, because we'll be starting Bhagavad Gita very soon. And to start that, before that, we just need to lay foundation in terms of how we are going to conduct, what are the sessions, how we are going to construct, whether we are going to have a group, whether we are going to do it individually, from where we are going to take in the references, a whole lot of things. A lot of preparation is already been done by teams, specifically by Uma here, who's trying to put everything together. So we are going to meet next week to kind of put it all together and see how do we take it forward. Is that okay for all of you? So let's meet, because that will become the benchmark of how we are taking it from here. So let's close with the prayers right now and see you all next week then. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkhah bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much, and we'll all see you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Good night.